What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video. Teen Mom 2 star Jenelle Evans' mom, Barbara Evans, came out with an exclusive tell-all interview with Radar Online where she dropped a couple of massive bombs on us. First of all, she confirmed that Ensley did indeed test positive for THC at birth and that there was a massive CPS investigation on David and Jenelle as a result of that. And she also let us know that at a certain point she kept Jace from Jenelle as long as she was legally allowed to because of that reason. And last but not least, she also confirmed something that we've all kind of been saying in our own ways, like, you know, across the internet about David's particular rage towards Kaiser because he is Nathan's son. And I am telling you, as soon as I read the statement, my jaw dropped, because it's one thing for all of us as complete outsiders to discuss a situation like this that's so serious and scary, quite frankly. But when someone involved in that family outright pretty much confirms all of her concerns, it's pretty terrifying to hear it. And especially knowing that a network like MTV is hiding all of this and kind of in a way by doing that, almost enabling the abuse, is quite troubling. And the show just seems so dark knowing what we know about what happens off air with all of these people. So let me just back it up and start from the beginning and what Barbara said specifically in her interview with Radar Online. So the first direct quote was, "That's a fact," in reference to the whole drug investigation. And she's like, "I have Jace, so when something like that happens, they contact me. The reason we were going to court is because of that. I can't send him over there when that's happened." That being, again, Ensley testing positive for drugs. She continued on to say, "I don't want to put him in that atmosphere. I knew all along about Ensley and never exposed it until the day of court in May, and the baby was born in January. All that time, I never opened my mouth." So while MTV has been kind of hiding this entire storyline from us, you can kind of tell via the things that Jenelle has been saying on air that what Barbara is saying is in fact true. Remember, in the episode that just passed this past Monday, Jenelle complained that she had not been able to see her son Jace for 3 weeks, which I'm assuming was around this time that the whole investigation was going. And I think that's as long as Barbara was allowed to keep Jace away from her. So anyway, Barbara continued on to say, "I'm very curious if MTV will air the footage of me from the day I went to court with Jenelle. After court, I was talking to one of her girlfriends, Jamie, asking her, 'What do you think about this decision?' And I told her, 'You just don't know all that's going on. If you people only knew this story. This is not about me or her. This is about Jace's life. They filmed that.' And I literally said it. Ensley testing positive for drugs. Everybody thinks that I held Jace back, I told the girl, and that's the reason why. Jamie said that she didn't know that. Well, nobody knew it. I was contacted about the investigation and told about it in court." You're gonna see it in my episode recap, but I asked, why would someone like Jamie or anyone want to get involved in something this serious? There's like friendship and then there's child endangerment. If in some strange parallel universe I decided to be friends with someone as big of a train wreck as Jenelle fucking Evans, I would absolutely not let that interfere with a child's life. So if I knew all the things I knew about Jenelle, for example, doing drugs while pregnant with every single one of her children, jumping through men like no tomorrow, and just her generally angry outbursts, the way she has no problem screaming and yelling in front of her children, cursing, leaving them with any and everybody, I would absolutely make up every excuse in the book to keep from testifying on behalf of her parenting skills in court, because I would feel personally responsible if anything ever inevitably, sadly, happened to her children because she gained more custody of them, or even like sole custody or anything like that. So I do believe that Jamie knew some things about what was going on. People like Jenelle are very, very, very good liars. In fact, they lie so well that they start to believe their own lies. So I do also believe that Jamie doesn't know everything about what happened with Jenelle at the same time. And so it was great to see that Barbara literally spoke about the drug testing on camera. And so now I'm telling MTV here right now in front of you guys, if this does not air next week, like something has to be said and done, because what you're about to hear later on in this video about the rest of Barbara's interview with Radar Online is absolutely going to shake you up. And the idea of MTV hiding all of this and protecting alleged abusers as opposed to children is pretty disturbing. As retaliation for beating her in court, as per usual, Jenelle has banned Barbara from seeing both Kaiser and Ensley. We've all known that for the longest time, Barbara has been kind of on camera talking about wanting to have a closer relationship with Kaiser and never being allowed to see him. But it turns out that that's also the case with Ensley as well. And Jenelle likes to play mind games with Barbara, claiming she's a bad grandparent who doesn't want to see her grandchildren, but at the same time, threatening to call the police if Barbara ever comes over for pretty much any reason, you guys. And another thing that Barbara confirmed in her interview with Radar Online is that Jenelle had in fact smoked weed while pregnant with every single one of her children. And her direct quote is, "You should not be smoking weed when you're pregnant." She was friggin' stoned the whole time she was pregnant with Jace. I don't care what it is, it's illegal, and she is absolutely irresponsible. A lot of people in my first video about all of this Ensley being born with THC and the subsequent investigation were like, there's nothing wrong with smoking weed while pregnant. My doctor recommended this. Doctors do it all the time. Like, people have been doing it for years. And it's kind of like, okay, maybe your doctor recommended that for you, but that's for you. And it's a regulated thing for you. And they told you how to do it in a safe manner. But in Jenelle's case, this is just a drug-addicted person being irresponsible. And second of all, if there was nothing wrong with smoking weed while pregnant, I'm pretty sure there wouldn't have been a CPS investigation on the girl, right? And I'm pretty sure her delivery of Jace was also under investigation as well, because if I'm remembering properly, he too tested positive for marijuana at birth, and there was something that was swept under the rug by MTV. Let's get down to the really serious statement that Barbara had to say about the safety of Kaiser in support of Doris Davidson, who is Nathan Griffith's mom. Barbara, point blank period, said what we'd all been speculating about for ever since we've met David, actually. She said that she is literally worried for Kaiser, and that she's been worried for Kaiser for a long time. And I quote, "We think it's because he looks like Nathan. Therefore, David gets more angry with him because of that fact." If your heart and your jaw does not drop or do not drop reading that and like really taking that in and remembering that this David person that everyone is so concerned about is like this 6'3", 6'4", whatever guy who has a restraining order against like his ex-girlfriend and his child that he's never seen because of this restraining order, because he allegedly strangled her while she was pregnant with their child. You know, and then you have to remember that he has strategically isolated Jenelle away from her family and friends. She is living in the woods in the middle of nowhere where no one would be able to know if anything happened like immediately, and it would be a long time to get to them out there, right? And just the idea of all of this, we've seen him like become so aggressive towards Kaiser like for years now. Remember that time that he told him to stop crying like a little bitch like his dad? Kaiser once cried for water. David threatened to put him on timeout. Like, there's just so many things wrong with this picture. And the fact that the grandmother, actually not even just the grandmother, the grandmothers are pretty much all but confirming the abuse that goes on over here. Wowza, you guys, the show is just so dark and heavy, especially considering the fact that the most dramatic things and the most like surreal things that really do need to be shown are things that are taking place off air and like right under our noses, with production purposely refusing to show the real story of what's going on with these women because of the hissy fits that they throw. But at the same time, it's like, why do you give in to these girls' hissy fits? They're all but one uneducated and have no chance of employment elsewhere. They need you more than you need them. What do you think about Barbara, first of all, confirming that Jenelle did in fact go under a CPS investigation because Ensley tested positive for THC in her system at birth, that she was pregnant and smoking weed with all of her children, and that Kaiser is legitimately in danger, and that it's mainly probably because he looks so much like his father, who David very openly despises. Let's talk about this in the comment section down below. Wow, is all I can say, you guys. You can also like this video, subscribe for more. Feel free to share it with your friends as well, and follow me across social media, where I absolutely love chatting with you. I really, truly hope MTV airs Barbara's full conversation with Jamie next week, and if they don't, it is absolutely irresponsible of them, and I cannot wait to see the backlash that they get. That's all for now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.